Mike, you good over there? All right, well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a gorgeous day at Polar Park and a day of celebration for us as today we complete the puzzle. Today is the ribbon cutting for the last piece of Polar Park. And with that comes opportunities for fans, whether we're playing the game or in the future, regardless of whether we're playing a game, and it completes not only the ballpark, but the ability to walk a loop around the ballpark, a Woo Sox loop of 4/10 of a mile. You'll see signage marking it, but there are a host of elements of this, and we'll go through those in a moment. But we do want to thank everybody for coming. We particularly want to acknowledge Mark Fuller and his wife Jan. There they are, from the Fuller Foundation, their daughter Kelsa. They were the very generous donors from the Fuller Family Foundation that allowed us to restore the diner. And that's one of the star attractions. But just for the roadmap, you see the Wormtown Brewery, you see the Sherwood Diner, written Sherwood, pronounced Sherwood, as taught to us by the Worcester Historical Museum. You see the famed duck boat, Beantown Betty. Some Boston sports heroes retired to Florida. This one retired to Worcester. A Taste of Worcester, which will be the home of culinary treats from local restaurateurs. You see the Woo Sox Cap Car, the cute little car with merchandise. That'll actually be in its own little bed, but right now it's on the street. And then right down at the foot of Summit Street, you will see a new Summit Street ticket office. And that means a lot because when people are walking into the Canal District to come to the games, they can just as easily come through Plymouth Street if they have to go to Will Call now as they did before when they had to go around to Madison Street. So it rebalances the portals into the ballpark in a way that I think will be actually significant and meaningful for people. But if all of our eyes were this way, we would miss one of the most beautiful elements of Summit Street, and that's behind us. And you'll see afterwards, you'll look closely, a gorgeous mural featuring a number of Canal District legends. And the painting is beautiful. The thought behind it, we give a lot of credit to Alan Fletcher, and he's represented by Dolly Vasquez today. Where's Dolly? There he is. Alan is making another generous community donation today, and Dolly is here representing him. Thank you and welcome. But there are stories galore all throughout Summit Street, from the summit of the summit down to the foot of Summit Street. So let me now introduce to you the visionaries behind the details and elements of Polar Park, the chairman and principal owner of the Woo Sox, Larry Lucchino, and the ballpark design advisor, Janet Marie Smith.
Well, thank you for being here today. We're here today to celebrate and to thank people. We want to celebrate because from the very beginning, the city councilor, the city manager, the team itself, Janet Marie Smith, all of us envisioned a ballpark that had an active street fair as part of it. And this is what we hope that Summit Street will become, with these features over here involving the diner and the duck boat and the Taste of Worcester and the ticket office. There'll be reason for people to come out here, and we hope that we will supplement that with bands and high school bands, etc., to make it a joyful, pleasant kind of experience. Now, we also wanted right from the beginning to have a loop that one could do around the ballpark and see the entire ballpark in a loop, and that we will be able to do once we open this part of the ballpark. So we are celebrating that. We want to thank the construction workers, who some of whom are here. We want to thank our partners at the city who believed in this vision as well, and we hope that very soon, and during this homestand, we'll have people taking the Woo Sox loop around the ballpark. doing a 360-degree circumnavigation of the ballpark, and getting up from their seats and enjoying the experience that is this ballpark. So, to the city manager, city councilor, thank you very much for your support and vision on this matter. To our mascots as well, thank you guys very much. And to Jenna Marie, who would go to her grave before she would finish a ballpark that didn't have this element in it. So thank you, Jenna, for all of your work. Why don't you come up and say a few words?
Well, I'm not sure what I can say that hasn't already been said, but I am just thrilled with the energy on Summit Street. I think if you think about most homes, there's a formal entry, and then there's a place where your friends come in. And that's the way we feel about the Plymouth Street entry and the way the Fallon Health Square will grow up to be, because so many of our fans are already parking over near the library. They're coming in by train. Canal District is so strong, and we love seeing the energy filter from the Canal Street here. And so this makes this a natural front door, not the ceremonial front door, but another front door. And it's just so much fun to have this little kit of parts and all these little Monopoly pieces come together. And I think it complements the kids area, which is something that the city manager really championed in a way that's really solid and appropriate for our minor league team to say, this is our other front door. So thanks to all of you, in particular to the Fuller Foundation, just that to be able to get this Sherwood Diner and raise it from the dead is nothing short of a miracle. So thank you to Steve Stutman and his colleagues for that. And I feel like we should never stop thanking Gilbane Hunt and DAIQ, who are the architects and the contractor for this project, because even though this looks like a little fun kit of parts, there was a lot of work on their part that went into creating the terraces for this to exist. So thank you all and enjoy.
Yeah, one thing. It's the 5th ballpark we have done, and I think I can say with some experience that while we're signaling the completion of this ballpark today with this segment of the ballpark and the Woosocks Walk and all of that, this ballpark will now be essentially finished at the end of this first inaugural season. But there will be changes that will take place in the next year or two. There will be some upgrades, some fine-tuning, some modifications, some improvements, and we look forward to giving to the people of Worcester a ballpark that they can be proud of for years to come. Thank you.
Some of you have heard us mention that when we built Camden Yards, you know, I knew no better. I thought that opening day the ballpark was therefore done, and then I learned there was a week for punch lists, month of punch lists, 3 months. Then Larry says, all right, it's time to announce our second half improvements. Okay. Time to announce our year 2 improvements. Time to announce our second half of year 2 improvements. And that's when I learned that as Janet Marie describes, ballparks are living organisms. And so too does that apply to this entire area. The ballpark is not an island. The ballpark, it connects with its streets and most importantly with its people. And I want to make sure people understand, when Larry asked for an open house in the middle of the season so that people would give us their ideas, give us their suggestions, give us their reactions, well, there's nowhere to hide it at the Woosocks. If Larry wants to know something, you know, he's going to find you. But people don't always realize that a city, a good city, an excellent city, operates the same way. And when one of the ideas was from the fans was, could we get lighting under the bridge on Madison Street? Probably many of us don't know exactly how that's going to happen, if that's going to happen, when that's going to happen. And we talked to our dear friends, our partners at City Hall, and they made it happen. And they made it happen quickly. And I think it holds so much promise for not only the ballpark being a living organism, but this entire Canal District. So it's a pleasure to introduce our partner at the City Council of this district, who has been in open, candor-filled dialogue since day one, vigorously advocating for the residents of this area and vigorously building partnerships between us and the businesses of this area. A very, very productive city council member. Welcome, Candy Merrill Carlson.
Thank you, Dr. Charles, and thank you, everyone. It's another beautiful, exciting day here in the city of Worcester, and I just love our mascots here that we have. It's always such a fun and exciting time when you come to the ballpark. Today marks the final piece of construction for Polar Park's inaugural season this year, as Dr. Charles has said. Over the past few months, we've seen this park come alive with fans. Summit Street will bring even more life here to Polar Park. I look forward to seeing these streets packed with fans and vendors next season. I want to applaud our city for being so welcoming to the Woo Sox and so supportive of the surrounding businesses and the residents here in the Canal District. This has been an amazing asset to the city of Worcester, and congratulations to the construction team on a job well done. And certainly want to say thank you to the Fullers for what you bring here to Polar Park and certainly what you bring to the city of Worcester. I just want to say, as the city councilor for District 2, and this park being here in the city of Worcester has brought so much to this city, and for the residents here, they love the fact that Larry and Dr. Charles and the entire team has worked so closely with the residents as well as the business. Again, another exciting day, and I close with saying a huge shout out to our economic development team that's here today, which is Peter Dunn, and we also have with us Steve Raleigh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilor Merrill Carlson. Some of the elements of Summit Street need very little introduction. You know what Wormtown Brewery is and means. But when it comes to the Sherwood Diner, just want to acknowledge that if there was one element of this that was a bit of a scavenger hunt, it might have been this one. The passion and devotion to Worcester and to baseball and to diners was what enabled us to work with the Fuller Family Foundation, and we thank you again. But where to find that? And Janet Marie went checking it out and looking under rocks and found it wrapped up in Sutton, and then we had to find out, gosh, who owns it? Who do we get it from? And then someone said something about a man whose name we knew, and he was from Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Well, Woonsocket, Rhode Island is the proud hometown of our Vice President of Marketing, Brooke Cooper, and I figured she knows everybody in Woonsocket, and if she doesn't, her mother, who's a longtime educator, does. She goes, oh yeah, well, yeah, we know him. He's a usher at McCoy Stadium. And Rick Medeiros, the beloved driver of our Blue Woo shuttle, among other responsibilities, said, oh my God, we love Tom. So we found Tom Shaker, Tom, raise your hand, our usher at McCoy Stadium, who it turns out is extraordinarily knowledgeable about diners in this region. And he helped us thread the needle that got us to the American Diner Heritage Museum, American Diner Heritage. And that's what enabled us to go through an intricate roadmap to find out how do we get this and then apply the funds that the Fuller Foundation provided. But what are you going to do with the diner? It's not a ham and egg joint. To get it to that level, and Larry may tell us that someday it's going to get there, you'd have to go through many more hoops. But we can provide Polar beverages. We can provide tabletop pies. We can have coffee. But how about if, because it comes from a foundation to the Woo Sox Foundation, we make it the headquarters of the Woo Sox Foundation? All right, what does that mean? Well, that's up to your imagination. So imagine all of the community partners we have, and we say yes in some way to every accredited nonprofit that seeks our help. There's always a way to help. And if it's 2 tickets to 1 ball game, you're a partner. Well, imagine then if the diner is now a central point, a focal point of dissemination of information in a city so community oriented, where you can find out about any foundation with whom we partner. But wait, there's more. How about if on this day, Rich Gedman's in there signing autographs? How about if we get a visit from a community-minded former Red Sox player like Tim Wakefield? Well, he's going to be in the diner. And your question's going to start to be, who's in the diner? And each day you wonder, who's in the diner? Better stop by the diner. And kids can come to the diner and see Smiley Ball and his new little puppy. Wonder how big he's really going to grow. Worcester, the wonder dog. Worcester is a wonder dog because he has superpowers. He has extraordinary kindness, compassion, helpfulness, and wait till children learn the rigors of training a dog and see what their parents have gone through with them. So the diner holds the opportunity to be much more than a diner. A taste of Worcester, you understand as well. We've been partnering all year long with local restaurateurs, particularly on Los Huepas days, and they have been providing their goods. But now you'll have them all in one home. And you just go right on down the street, and I think that you'll find that there's more than just building elements to this. But the most important part for us is to complete a polar park that continues to connect with the city. The city's been our partner, a great partner. What did Larry say, 5 ballparks, and we've been around. We've been coast to coast. And I just don't think that any city government has been a more sincere, active, energetic partner. Right through the mayor, through the city council, and through this gentleman who leads that city hall staff. We've never worked with anybody as good to work with. That doesn't mean easy. It means fair, and it means good, and means very, very reputable. So for the last words, please welcome our city manager, Ed Augustus.
Thank you, Charles, for those kind words. You know, when you're the last speaker, it's hard to say something original, but I will say a couple things. One is, maybe 4.5 years ago, we started this whole journey about talking about the possibility, was there even a possibility of the team coming here to Worcester? And, you know, I can remember meeting at Lock 50, Russo's, and Janet Marie and Larry and their teams were here, and we literally walked through this area, which was a hill at the time. It was an abandoned parking lot with weeds up to your waist. And we walked across the street and looked down about 7 feet from the sidewalk into what was the old Wyman Gordon factory. And instantly, you know, Janet Marie and Larry got it. They didn't necessarily let on that they got it immediately, but they immediately saw the potential and the opportunity. And you know, this ballpark is really special because it's not something that looks like it landed as a spaceship from outer space into the middle of the city. If you look at it, it's weaved into the fabric of the city. It's connected to the city. It's connected in tangible ways, and it's connected in, you know, things like the mural that connected to the history and to the vibrancy and to this neighborhood and what this community means. And this, I think, final piece of the ballpark is not the final piece of the impact of this ballpark on the community. In a month, we'll open the garage across the street. And in 2 months, we'll open Pickett Park. And in the months and years ahead, we're going to open buildings across the street, in the left field, and along Summit Street. And the vision of the ballpark is to create a great civic space where people come and they create memories and they create opportunity. We raise Worcester's visibility as a brand. It has definitely delivered beyond expectations on all of those things. But part of the promise of the ballpark was it would attract investment. It would create jobs. It would expand the tax base. It would create other opportunities for the people of this community and beyond. And it is doing that. It is doing that in ways that are quicker and I think more impactful than we had even hoped initially. And that is in no small measure because of the team that we partnered with Larry and Janet Marie and Charles and all of their folks. They are top-notch when it comes to knowing how to create a ballpark that has all of those elements that make it iconic, that make it uniquely ours. This is not something that's cookie cutter off the shelf from somewhere else. This is our ballpark, and it is unique to our community. And so I want to just thank them publicly for their vision, for their stick-to-itiveness, for their creativity, their problem-solving abilities that have delivered something that I think is way beyond what we even dared to hope for originally. And this part is going to be really special, this idea of kind of the connection with the neighborhood, the connection with the community. This area can be activated not only when there's a game going on, but other times of the year. And it's going to put people on the street, that's going to support our Canal District businesses, support the downtown area. And I do want to echo everyone else's thanks to the Fullers. You look around the city, that every major institution or civic endeavor that we've had over the last 100+ years have been impacted by the generosity of the Fuller Foundation. I want to thank them for once again having an impact on this important civic endeavor by making a critical contribution. I promised Virginia Ryan, whose father owned the Sherwood many years ago, and who had this passion to try to save the Sherwood and bring it back. And I said, Virginia, we're going to do it, even before we knew it could fit in here in the ballpark. And I don't know where Virginia is, but I know she is tickled pink that we've been able to deliver on that promise. And she can see it come back. And everyone has done such a great job. I had a chance to peek in there. And the detail, the craftsmanship, really it's a credit to everyone who was involved in that project, that they didn't just kind of bring it back, but they brought it back to its rich history. So I want to thank them for that. And all of the construction team, all of the city staff, all of the WUSOC staff, everybody came together to really rise to the occasion and get this done. So I really appreciate all your hard work. It does not go unnoticed. Your fingerprints are on this ballpark and on this city for years to come. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. As we now ask our guests to stand behind the ribbon, there are a lot of stories that happen at this ballpark, and it is one of our passions for those stories to emanate, to radiate, to be disseminated throughout Red Sox Nation, WUSOX Nation, throughout America. And let us not forget that the Diner can be the host of our pregame show and our postgame show on our radio stations. We have Bob Goodell here. You know him from Nash Icon. You know him from The Pike. You know him from XLO. And the idea that we could do our radio shows, our pregame show and our postgame show from here, gives the Diner an opportunity to tell our stories to the world. You are listening live at the Sherwood Diner on Summit Street, and you may hear that coast to coast and around the world. So, Bob, we thank you for that partnership, and we look forward to having great stories be generated here that we can tell the world and let them know that we're broadcasting from the wonderful world of Worcester. Thank you all for coming. We're going to cut the ribbon now, and then you can take a look at things up close. Thanks very much.